here we're sitting down, going into it, hoping to play like blue-red, white-red, or a domain deck. I found those decks to be like the most consistent. Do have to 3-0 the pod to move on to the next stage. So if we look at this pack, the 3 stand-up cards are all the removal spells: Fires of Victory, Tolarian Geyser, Extinguish the Light. I think Fires of Victory is the best one here. Used to be that card would wheel, which is crazy, but I think we're well past that stage right now. This card's also fine, just early game, and as long as you have a few ways to kick it with blue, then you're in good shape. But really, you do want to cast it on 5 so you can get that sort of a removal and draw a card effect. If we look at the rest of the pack, shallow in most colors. There's quite a few green cards. They're all actually pretty decent, so we'll see if those wheel. Looking at this pack, the standouts, I see the Braid's Frightful Return. I found that card to be pretty good. And Talus Lookout. Timely Interference is a decent card, but I'm not picking a second pick. There's also the land, which would help splash the Fires of Victory. So this is an interesting pick. It's really between the land and the Talus Lookout, and it basically helps me determine what lane I'm going to go down. The safe pick is the Tributary, and I might do that to stay open right now. I think the Lookout's the more powerful pick, but I really want to make sure I'm in my right lane, and if I can be in domain splashing fires, I think the land's better. If I first picked, let's say, Tolarian Geyser, then I would just follow up with another blue card. But because I really want to make sure I have red and blue, I'm actually just going to second pick the land here. And hopefully, go either down blue-red or domain. Whereas if I take the Lookout, ooh, nice. Note there's no lands here. Now, not every pack has a land, but when you don't see lands, it's worth noting, although in this case you can see what was picked, a rare and an uncommon. So this pack just had no lands in it, so we're not worried about not seeing lands here. But definitely happy to pick up another Fires of Victory, and now I'm pretty happy that I picked up the land, because we really want to make sure that we have the mana to be able to cast both of these, and so this Molten Tributary is going to help us out quite a bit. This pack is pretty strong, and so there's a chance this Flowstone Kavu might wheel. I don't love it, except in really aggressive versions of red decks, but it is a pretty good card, so I could see a world where perhaps that will come back on the wheel as well. Alright. Oh, I didn't... It's 7 in the morning with this day 2 draft, and just finishing up, having some coffee. Didn't even see the Essence Scatter at first, so that is wonderful. I was trying to figure out what we were going to take here. If the Essence Scatter weren't here, it'd be a pretty tough pick, I think. I'm really incentivized to be in red, so I could see just taking Coalition Warbrute. I've been pretty impressed with that card, just as a way to close games. It's just a pretty big body. It's definitely not the best card in the pack. But like if I wanted to take a non-red card, I would probably take Griffin Protector and maybe go towards white-red. I think it's actually even like just better than Tori most of the time because it has evasion. But we're really happy to take up the Essence Scatter here, and we're looking to build hopefully more of like a spells deck. Alright, so we have an option. Our options are Flowstone Infusion or Keldon Strike Team. Keldon Strike Team, if we're able to splash, we could be more of a like red-white-ish build. It's a more powerful card than the Infusion. We're not seeing the payoffs right now, so that's a little bit nerve-wracking, where if I just take Flowstone Infusion, our deck might just not function at some point, but I still think I'm going to take it over Keldon Strike Team, because the Strike Team really doesn't have anything to do with our cards so far. So we're like kind of all in on spells with no payoffs right now, but Espionage is a great pickup here. We have a bunch of 1-for-1s. Well, sometimes a 1-for-1, sometimes 2-for-1, that's why Fires of Victory is so good. But like Essence Scatter, Flowstone Infusion. So if we're able to 1-for-1 a bunch, then we want to play as many 2-for-1s as we can get. So Phyrexian Espionage is nice. Notably, Pixie Illusionist, Shadow Prophecy, and Yavimai Sojourners all point to a domain road. And we have seen a decent number of lands, and we're starting to see some blue being open as well. Notice how we haven't seen really any white cards. So that Keldon Strike team that we passed probably would not have been the right place to be anyways. Although there are some white cards right here, specifically white-black. But we're very happy to pick up G2 Amplifier. Our deck is just all spells right now. So that's pretty straightforward. And so it's interesting to see these packs sort of are split on, I think, what was opened. And so sometimes when that happens, it's hard to see what's open in your lane. But I think we're in a pretty good spot here. Nice. So another Espionage. That's fantastic. And just keep attacking. Timely Interference or a random Merfolk Lord. Well, we'll take the Timely. That's fantastic again. It's a really, really good card with G2 Amplifier, because you can basically kill your opponent's 2/2s, and you don't lose your creature. So it turns into a 2-for-1 on turn 3 a lot of the time. I think we want to just have... I'm going to pick up this Branch Rider over... Well, maybe I should take a Negate. I'm a little worried about just having no creatures, but this is not that good unless we pick up green mana. So I guess I'll take the Negate. It could be like a shore up. Oh, and there's that Flowstone Kavu that I was wondering if would wheel. That pack was pretty good, but I'm really happy to have the Kavu back. It's not very synergistic with all the spells. Although sometimes it is, where if they block with like a 2/2 and a bigger creature for the menace, then you blow them out with a removal spell. Oh, wow. Okay, well, we're definitely in the right spot. All the red cards are here. We got late blue cards. So what I'm hoping right now is going on is that we're in this lane and a bunch of like Tolarian Terror type cards just weren't opened in pack 1. And so hopefully we're going to get really hooked up the rest of the draft. It's very nice when you get your spot early in this format, because it can be very tough to sometimes figure out where you should be. Alright, well, we're just on Merfolk Lords all day. Not where I want to be in a high-stakes draft. I'm going to put this in the sideboard for now. We might play it. It's pretty good with Coalition Warbrute and Flowstone Kavu. But if I have enough removal, I won't play it. So the real question is, do I first pick Academy Wall or Flowstone Infusion number 2? I think the Infusion getting on board to clear the way for the Amplifier is more important than the Academy Wall. We also already have a few 3-drops, so I'm going to take Infusion number 2. It is a card that we can sideboard out, but we are playing best of 3, so I would like this pick a little less in best of 1, where sometimes that card's just not very good. If your opponent is playing a bunch of domain and expensive cards, then it doesn't really fit your game plan. Alright, I think we take the Geyser, hope to wield the Amplifier. I kind of want the Amplifier more than the Geyser, but Geyser is just so good. So I'm hoping we get some more spell payoffs in a bit. And I don't have that, I don't have that many proactive spells that I want to play, to fill up the yard select for my first Amplifier. So if I took this Amplifier over the Geyser, I feel like that's a little too all-in. There's also the Amplifier, the Tributary, and there's even Founding the Third Path. I found this card to be okay, and it's pretty good with some of the stuff that we have here. Alright, we'll take another Essence Scatter. I don't love Essence Scatter in aggressive versions of Blue-Red, because it doesn't pump up your amplifiers, but it's still a good card and you'll still play it. So I'm certainly going to take it over Coral Colony, which is just a random 1/4. I don't think Coral Colony fits in what we're doing here. Really the card I'm looking for is Tolarian Terror. We already have 9 spells. This will be our 10th spell, and so, I mean, we're in the lane for Terror, hope it works out. There is an argument for Molten Monstrosity too. I'm not there yet, but if you play Amplifier and pump it up a bunch, you can put down a Monstrosity on the cheap. And now we have a ton of spells, so I could take this Academy Wall to filter and keep things going. This is a tough pick. This Kavu might wheel again, so I don't want to take it. I would be happy to play another. Haunting Figment if I want to go really aggro, but again, I have 2 Essence Scatters, so I think I just want the Academy Wall. I like Mirror's Outrider fine. It's just a big creature. But I'm going to take the wall here, and which means I'm not quite as aggressive. I'm more mid-range, but I think that's okay. Wow, nice. So we're definitely getting hooked up in the spell department. A Lightning Strike 5th pick is a really nice sign. Notice that there haven't been like insane blue cards that we've seen, so it's possible the person passing to us here in pack 2 went into blue as well. Maybe they opened up something great. It is one thing about this format that's tough is that even if you're in the open lane, if the cards you need aren't opened, it can be pretty tough. Like, I really just need Tolarian Terror. And if I don't see them, my deck just isn't that good. Okay, we get this G2 Amplifier, which is awesome. And if we get like 4 G2 Amplifiers, then we don't necessarily need the Terrors because we have enough other ways to push damage. Also, if we have enough removal, Keldon Strike Team can just be a decent card. I think I'm going to take that. Like right now, I think I just need ways to attack. We have 5 creatures. So, clearing the way, attacking, keep it going. Ooh. I kind of want a Flowstone Infusion for the board, but I'm going to take Espionage number 3. And the Academy Wall came back. Yeah, I'm going to take that. It's better than the Keldon Strike Team once I have 3 Espionages. Like, I'm fine just playing this mid-range plan where I just sit there, build up resources, and eventually get them. Oh, damn. So it is kind of a weird split, though. Amplifiers and 2 Academy Walls. But I can play the walls and just keep attacking my opponent, and then they can't attack me back. That's fine. Monstrosity actually might be okay with the amplifiers. I think Kavu is better in my deck than Keldon Strike Team, and notably it did come back, which is fantastic. Strike Team is pretty good with Warbrute. I'm probably not going to play random 5-4, but I guess if my opponent has a ton of removal, maybe I will. Or they have all small things. So again, like I have 23 playables going into pack 3, so we're definitely in the right spot. But the main thing I'm missing is Tolarian Terror. We have 12 spells. Riff? I am nowhere close to playing that. I don't really have any cards I can take from my deck, unfortunately. The only blue card in the pack is Soaring Drake. There's an Impede Momentum, which is pretty good with amplifiers. I could take that. Sprouting Goblin helps to make sure we don't flood later on, but I already have Academy Walls to do that. I could take it. I could take the Sprouting Goblin. It's a fine 2-drop, and it lets me attack, and then later in the game, lets me sack lands. And if I randomly get like a Crystal Grotto, I can play Sprouting Goblin later and find a land. I think that's the pick, and then maybe I take the Impede Momentum if it wheels. Ooh, there's the Terror. I'm snapping that up, not passing it. That card goes really early these days, and people just know to pick that card now. There's a Danitha in the pack. Note that there was really no white cards in pack 1, so probably someone like 2 or 3 seats up from me is in white, because obviously they would take the Danitha if they were there already. I'm hoping to wheel one of the lands or the Flowstone Infusion. Given the way the draft has gone, it's possible that might happen. Oh, that is great. Electric. We have all these spells. It'll grow. Everything's awesome. I'm liking this Flowstone Infusion more now, and also I'd be pretty happy with another Timely Interference. Fires of Victory number 3. Nice. Well, we're looking more like we're going to be like this low-to-the-ground red-blue deck. So the Academy Walls might not get there. That's okay. There's another Espionage, too. There's a G2 Amplifier. There's just amazing things, but Fires of Victory is just the highest win rate card, and it's perfect. Talentless Lookout is not really what our deck's doing, but it is just a good card. So I probably will try to play it. Because we're aggressive, I just play a 3-2 flyer and keep attacking them. These Academy Walls might make might not make the cut, because our deck is turning pretty aggressive in pack 3. Do I take a Pixie Illusionist or Thrill of Possibility? I'm pretty sure I take Thrill of Possibility. It's another way to make sure we don't just flood out. And it also makes sure we can hit our land drops. So I could play, 16 lands with that, a bunch of cheap cards. Do I want a Steel Crusher? Steel Crusher is pretty good with Amplifier as a way to pump it and then attack with the Steel Crusher instead. And that we can keep the Amplifier on the board. I think that's more important than another negate. I think I'm going to take Hero's Heirloom here over Salvage Mana Worker. Maybe I sideboard this in certain matchups where I need creature sizing to matter. Yeah, both of those came back, so what do I take here? I already have enough 3-drops. I think I just take the Imbued Momentum. I think we're aggressive enough, and I have enough card draw. Or do I take Smash to Dust for the sideboard? I think the Imbued Momentum is better. Wow, nice. I think this is better than the Crystal Grotto. Although we have 3 Espionages. And we have the Sprouting Goblin. I still think this is so good, though. Like, in the matchups, like, if I can just always make my D2 Amplifier get through, then I'm just really happy with that. Speaking of. Alright, so I'm probably going to cut the Academy Walls and just play, like, 16 land aggro. I do have a lot of 5, like, I have all these Fires of Victories, and B2 Amplifiers are also 5-drops. So, I do need to figure out what I'm cutting here. 16 creatures is obviously way too many, but we also have 16 spells, so I can build it in a variety of ways. I imagine I only want to play 2 Flowstone Infusions main. If I cut the Academy Walls, I still can play Thrill of Possibility and Sprouting Goblin, so that I don't flood. And then, I could just cut Essence Scatters too. They're just not good with E2 Amplifier, and that's my plan. Like, I think this card's excellent. And I can cut a land. Which land would I cut? Probably Island, because I have so many red cards. It is a little awkward to play the Talus Lookout, but I think the card's good enough. Maybe I don't need the Imbued Momentum. I do like that it helps me push damage. How many 2-drops am I playing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could cut a 2-drop. I think the worst one right now is Yavimaya Steel Crusher. Maybe just play one of those. Maybe just a random 3-1. I'm going to play 1 creature within list, so Kelvin Strike Team doesn't really do the job. And really, I'm just going to play Espionage on 3 and then 2 2-drops on turn 4 a lot of the time. So our 4-drop slot looks pretty empty. But I have so many 2-drops that I think it's going to be alright. And then for 5, I don't have any 5-drops, but I have 3 Fires of Victory and 4 D2 Amplifiers. So I actually have a lot of 5-drops. It does feel a little bit crazy to cut Essence Scatter. It's a really good card against the Domain deck, so I could board it in. But it's not something I'm really that interested in starting. So, let's see. So what do I cut for my last card here? Do I want to play any of it? Furious Bellow is pretty good with 4 G2 Amplifiers. Maybe I should cut the Steel Crusher and the Keldon Strike Team and play Furious Bellow. That's 10 creatures. It lets me attack through a bunch of stuff. This is just literally just a 3-1 haste, which is fine. But what if I do this instead? If they have a ton of removal, I can sideboard in more creatures. $10 creatures and 14 spells is pretty solid. I'm not sure about this Imbued Momentum, but I do think I think it's the deck for it, so... Basically, if they're aggressive and they have a lot of small creatures, I would board the Flowstone Infusion in for the momentum. I have it as a hedge against the decks where they just play big threats and we need to close the game. Because, well, I do have 4 Amplifiers main, though, so if they play something really big, I can just bounce it. And I have Geyser. So maybe Imbued Momentum is just worse than Shock. And if I draw 2 of these, I can double up on them to kill something bigger, and that's going to pump all my Amplifiers, so... The more I think about it, I think I should just be playing 3 Shocks main. 3 Flowstone Infusion. Again, when you have 4 Amplifiers, I don't love Essence Scatter. I think it's too reactive. I think we want to be attacking. So holding up Essence Scatter while I attack for 1 is kind of worse than answering what they play and then attacking for more. I really want to build towards synergy, which I think we have done here. And I'm really happy about how the draft went. Blue-red has been overdrafted lately, and like it was just completely open this draft. So we have 9 red sources, 8 blue sources, and that's going to be our deck. We're going to play, and we're going to keep. Not really the best 2-drop. It's still pretty solid. I think I'm just going to timely interference that and get the 2 for 1 here. We're going to attack, and then I think we're going to just espionage, because I want to get land drops, and I could bounce their next big play. I think that's better than playing the amplifier. It would be a little different if I did double red. I might play the amplifier so I could double Flowstone Infusion the next turn, but we don't have double red. We have double blue, which means I want to play Talus Lookout instead. Alright, no lands. We are playing 16, so that's going to happen sometimes. We have 3 in play, we're okay. But being constrained on a single red source here is not good. I think I'm just going to attack and then play D2 Amplifier. I am in kind of big trouble. Now, would they use... If they attack with everything and they have hold up or take up the shield, do I just block? Probably. Like, that card's gonna be good against me most of the game. If they have to take up the shield here, it's a big problem. I probably should just fire to victory that card. I could also Tolarian Geyser it. But then if I don't draw a land, I have to discard. This is tough. Right. I think I'm going to attack with the Goblin, but not the Amplifier. They didn't want to block the food this turn so I could play their Phalanx, but now that I removed their Phalanx, they decided to block. I guess if they can kill my Amplifier, then they're under no pressure. So they're playing their 4-4. Okay, well, we got a problem here. I think I should bounce their Paragon. I really need to hit a land here. Hopefully a mountain. Brutal. Well, I can't really attack. If I lose my creature, I'm just in really bad shape. If I draw a mountain next turn, I can kill their Sarah Paragon with double Flowstone Infusion, or the thing is, if I attack and trade with a Goblin Picker, though, the Sarah Paragon is like this is such an engine. I think I should attack. So. Yeah, I don't even want to block. All right, what am I discarding? Probably Furious Bellow. Or a Flowstone Infusion. I'm going to have to answer their Paragon next turn, so if I do that, what else am I doing? Bella lets me keep attacking. I think I have enough resources where I just want to kill everything they play. The picker? That's interesting. Goodness gracious. Alright, let's just kill it. They're almost in burn range with this lightning strike. They're trying to race me, which makes me think they have heroic charge. Mountain, yes. Alright, let's flowstone their picker. And then play a flowstone copy. I could potentially bounce this picker. Yeah. Weird. They don't want to kill this amplifier, which is dealing them so much damage. They must have just drawn that card. Alright, I'm just gonna bounce the goblin picker, because then it's gonna lose this ability. It's not perpetual like in that one set. I don't want them to gain 2 life, is really important. Alright, and then next turn, hopefully we can burn them out. Go infusion, lightning strike face. That'll do it. Well, I'm glad we played 3 glowstone infusions. I guess impede momentum would be good here too. This also beats take up the shield because I can lightning strike their creature. On to game 2. I could not kill the lightning strike right there and just pass to try to get more information. That might be better. I don't think there's the life gain at instant speed I'd have to worry about. Essence Scatter is pretty good against the Paragon on the draw. Are giving phalanx, but they also have some cards where they're not even creatures, right? Captain's Call embarrasses Essence Scatter pretty badly. So boarding in a bunch of Essence Scatters is probably not where I want to be. Furious Bellow, this is not the matchup for it. It was really concession to kind of the big blocker decks, and this is not one of those. So what do we want to do? Obviously I want all the flowstone infusions I can get. They have a bunch of tutus. I could see, I think on the draw maybe I just want the Essence Scatters because I think answering their high impact cards is pretty important. Their low impact cards I can, basically I'm just going to be more of a control deck in game 2. So I should probably cut, maybe only bring in 1 Essence Scatter because I'm still proactive. Not like I can't answer the Sarah Paragon either. I have 3 Fires of Victory. Maybe just play 1 Essence Scatter. I think Thrill of Possibility is better. Yeah, this way I can still be pretty proactive. My deck is pretty linear, so it's easy to overboard with these style of decks and then just have a non-functional deck. So that's not what I want to do. I want a functional deck. Yikes. Well, I kind of can keep this hand, but I kind of can't. I think I should just mulligan. Like, if I keep it, yeah, I can answer the first card. I do have Thrill of Possibility. I just need 1 land, and then my hand is really set. The more I think about this, I think it's probably keep. I think if I didn't have the Thrill of Possibility, I can't keep this hand, but If I don't have Thrill or Flowstone Infusion, I can't keep this hand, but I can prevent early pressure, and then I can answer. Yeah, I'm actually going to keep this hand. Normally one-landers are totally unkeepable, but I basically get to wait until turn 3, hopefully, and get there. If I have to discard on turn 2, I can always discard something as expected. They're giving me targets, they're dice all 2. Alright, we hit. That's great. Problem. I'm just gonna get rid of the Flowstone copy right now so we can hit some drops. At this point, I'm hoping to wait until I get to 5 mana to play the Fires of Victory, so we can cycle it all. And so I can happily just trade off my Flowstone copy. That or I Lightning Strike the Goblin Picker. If I kill this, then any lands they draw are dead at this point, I think. And if they play an Argivian Phalanx, then I can just kill that. So I would be at 14, then 11. And by then I can play a Talus Lookout. I basically have the 2 Fires of Victory, so I can answer their good cards too. I just have to keep Goblin Picker on autoplay. I think it's the game plan they're playing. Like, the way I'm going to win this game is if they draw some blanks. Because I have a lot of more resources than they do. So if I let them just have resources, it's not going to go well. Alright, we get to kill that. That's good. Just kill it right now. Kill the fire. I don't want to bounce it first because then they could replay the picker. Playing an extra mountain than island, but it wouldn't seem that way. Probably going super wide. Do I Talus Lookout here, or do I Fires of Victory the Cavalier? I think I just Talus Lookout. The problem with Talus Lookout, you know what? If I tap like this and it dies, I might be able to draw a shot. If they have Heroic Charge, I'm just gonna die. Let's see, hopefully there's a shot on top. Nope. That was the risk of that line. So what do we do here? I could kill a token and block. If I draw Shock, I can kill a token, play Amplifier, Shock and block. Alright, I'm just gonna play Kabu. Hopefully they're out of stuff. The problem is I have to kill them quickly now because if they then I know they have. Well, they already played Lightning Strike. I don't know if they have another, but I just have to take the least amount of damage possible. Yeah, our hand was a little awkward in developing, and they had a really good draw, so that happens. I was definitely a little greedy to keep, but we got there and still lost, so I don't know what that says. So they have 2 Lightning Strikes and Shocks, and a Flowstone Infusion themselves. So my Amplifier plan is only okay. But I'm not going to always be able to put a ton of pressure on, because I can just kill everything. Maybe I should put a Warbrood in on the play. It's really hard for them to answer. And I kind of just want to keep tapping out like I've been doing. Like, I can answer the Paragon with the 3 Fires of Victories, the D2 amplifiers to keep them off of it. I think it's just not really where I want to go. And again, I'm going to keep my deck streamlined. I'm not really interested in the walls. They have a lot of ways to punch past a wall. I don't know, maybe this Warbrute's worse than an Essence Scatter. I kind of like just curving out, though, and having a big creature. The more removal they have, the more creatures I want, so boarding up a creature is kind of nice. Also, the Sprouting Goblin is kind of bad. It doesn't do that much. Because it'll just trade. But I guess if I put it in play, it's another threat they have to kill eventually. And it's a way to not flood. Not that flooding's been an issue the first 2 games, but every game of Magic is different. So if I just have a ton of lands in game 3, then the picker might actually, I'm sorry, the Sprouting Goblin might actually be good. So what's interesting about this hand is that I know they have a lot of early interaction. So I don't know that I want to slam an Electric Static Infantry on turn 2, because it'll just die, and it's kind of my game plan. But if I think I'm going to play Fires of Victory on turn 3, then I really want to have the infantry in play already. So I have to really think about this. But I could also just play the Summit March. I don't think I'm going to just kill their 2-drop most of the time, so I'm just going to play this. It hits for more right now anyways. And if they want to kill it, they can. Looks like they're just passing through though, so they're unlikely to have their removal spell. Do we Lightning Strike that, or Fires of Victory? I think we Lightning Strike it. I could wait to trade, but I'm not really interested in trading with all this removal. Just notably, I have 4 cards in hand, so I can still kill a Paragon next turn. I think I'm just going to attack with both, offer the trade, and then play my Espionage. If they block the infantry, then I'll Fires of Victory. This is just heading us towards the terror game plan. And I can actually start kicking these, so that's nice too. Hopefully they can't kill the infantry. It's out of Lightning Strike range, which is good. It's in Destroy Evil range, but I haven't really played any cards that Destroy Evil would be good against, so I imagine they might have boarded it out. They haven't seen a terror in the first 2 games, and I played a bunch of 1/2s every game and 2/3s. I'm just going to attack. I believe this game is about tempo at this point, so I shouldn't kick the Fires of Victory, I should just kill their 4/4. And play a Kavu. The problem with doing that is that if they play a Sarah Paragon next turn, I can't kill it. Because I'll have played multiple cards. But I think I have to do this. Like, if they have the Sarah Paragon, they have the Sarah Paragon. I need to put pressure on to finish this. I can also attack into it. Good. Like here I get to attack with both. Oh wait, I'll still have 4. Right? Yeah, I draw the card and then it deals the damage. Never mind. That's all it works out. They're just hoping I have nothing. Alright, well, I have something. Yeah, so I mean, my play the previous turn was even more correct. I was just doing my math wrong. I was forgetting to add the card that I was going to draw / still be in my hand when I kick it. So yeah, that worked out. Alright, match 2. Pretty solid hand. I think we just want to play the Sprouting Goblin first. They didn't want to cycle their timely interference, it looks like. Playing a mirror. If they don't cycle it here, it means they probably have Essence Scatter, but I have a lot of creatures in my hand, so I should just play it. Or they're waiting to see what they want to target. Now they might just cycle. It doesn't really make too much sense to hold it that long if you aren't going to get value out of it. So maybe they should just cycle on turn 1. But it probably hasn't really impacted the curve at this point. They've still done everything every turn. So if your hand is good enough, it's fine to just go ahead and cycle. I am going to pump. It opens me up to Flowstone Infusion, but I think that's fine. They would have used that earlier on the Sprouting Goblin. Unless they're really thinking if they want to... They probably have one last removal spell, and do you kill the G2 Amplifier here or not? I guess that's the question. Oh. Okay. Maybe they have the infusion. Oh, they just want to cycle twice? Sure. Maybe they're trying to set up their Tolarian Terror. It will cost 2 mana right now. I mean, I guess we just attack, right? I'm glad they blocked. Fires of Victory. It's a good card. Unfortunately, it doesn't help me answer a terror. But I don't think I can bottom that. Like, it doesn't help me answer a terror yet. I guess I could bottom it. But I have D2 Amplifier in play. I think it's pretty greedy to bottom that. And every spell I'm casting, I'm getting closer to playing my terror anyways. So I have all these flowstone infusions and whatever. You see, that one I can double infusion. Or I can just fire the victory. I don't know. Do we have another blue spell? Alright, we have a problem here, folks. I think I'm just gonna... I could just double infusion this and attack with both. Because that lets me trade with the amplifier for the terror. But it means they can't block the amplifier. With the defiler. Okay, so they're just trying to stabilize at this point. And the Tolarian Terror is the plan to do so. So hopefully, if we, we play the Talus Lookout in a bit, that's going to let us win from there. They have a nice version of, like, the controlling blue-red deck, I think. Those types of cards we didn't really see in the draft. We had to draft more of the aggressive version. I like the controlling version a little more because you just have more consistency with your Tolarian Terrors. You're able to find them more frequently, all that good stuff. Wow, that is bold. I guess you gotta get your damage in when the damage is good. I wonder if they're setting up for some giant play. I guess they're... Oh, they gained 3 life, so they're not really that low. Alright, what do we play here? Probably just Tolarian Terror. If they attack, do I block? Probably not. If they have a third timely interference, that's going to be a blowout. It does use 5 of their mana, but they get to cycle. Alright, so I could cycle Fires of Victory, hit him down to 4. Alternatively, I could play Fires of Victory and play a Tolarian Terror, hit him down to 4. And then I have a 5/5 in play. It's probably better. Other options, I mean, I could play Kabu instead, but I don't think that's what I want to do. Also, if they have Shore Up, it's just a complete disaster. They probably do, based on the way. Maybe not. So I would die to another Twinferno if I let their Terror through this turn. But I don't think I can block. Well, maybe I could. Like, the attack doesn't make a ton of sense if they attack me here, unless they have more. Yeah. So if I espionage and draw a spell, then I have 2 lethal attackers. Versus just playing a Talus Lookout. But they could easily have more Essence Scatters at this point. The Talus Lookout just seems like the right play. And then next turn, if I need to, I can play both of these. Also, if they have Shore Up, I don't really want to attack into their Tolarian Terror. But they probably would have played it last turn. I kind of want to wait to give myself an opportunity to have 2 spells, so if I wait a turn, I'm more likely to draw a cheap spell. either my draw step or one of the two from the espionage. That didn't get countered, so that's a great start. I don't want to attack. Too many things can go wrong attacking there. And now I am in the driver's seat with this Talus Lookout in play. Cheap spells, we have one Flowstone Infusion, and we have one Timely Interference, and then we have some more Fires of Victory and Lightning Strikes. Also, if they just pass back, I probably will just attack the Lookout and play a Flowstone Kabu if I draw nothing. The reason is that they kind of have to react to me, and if I go all in too soon, they can just remove a bunch of my blockers and kind of swing back. If they attack here, it's pretty suspicious. Like, it just looks like another Twinferno. I kind of just want to block my 3-2. But Shore Up is also likely, in which case, if I block, it's really bad for me. And it's going to make my Terror cheaper as well. I think I should do that, find some spells. Ooh, there's the Lightning Strike. I think that's the one I want. Terror now is going to cost 1 mana next turn. I think I should just play Espionage and attack. Well, does that make sense? I mean, I can go for the win right here, obviously. They're more likely to have Twinferno than... Based on the way they played, they were looking for lethal there, right? Alright, I'm gonna try to go for the win here. Pretty sure they had a Twinferno, because otherwise their attack didn't make sense. So I'm glad I blocked, and I chose the right things. They kind of were playing like they could have a Shore Up, but the times that they could have had a Shore Up, they didn't play one. So it made it less likely. I think Essence Scatter is really good in this matchup. They kind of just spin their wheels, and then they spend 5 mana on their bounce creatures or their Tolarian Terror. This is still good, though, because they have a lot of G2 amplifiers, too. Furious Bellows is a nice answer to Tolarian Terrors, but I think, given the red removal, it's kind of risky. I'd rather use Essence Scatter as the way to interact with their threats. I do want to play both, so what am I cutting? Maybe Sprouting Goblin? It's just a 2-2 in the matchup. And 2-2s are a little vulnerable because of Timely Interference. Like if they play a creature, I don't answer it. I can't really play my 2-2 because they just 2-for-1 me. What am I leaving here? Not too much. Academy Wall, not very good against Tolarian Terror. I don't even really love Negate in the matchup. I think the things I need to answer are their creatures. I think my mana base is still correct, leaning more red. It's a little closer now that I board into Essence Scatters, but I think I still want to lean red. I do have 2 Flowstone Kabus, so having the mana to be able to use those is pretty important. is a little awkward in that I can't close stone infusion on turn 1. But looks like it didn't matter. I kind of want to be able to answer one of their threats here, if possible. Because otherwise I'm just going to have to discard, which is kind of frustrating. It might be wrong to pass there. Yeah, see, now I have to espionage, but if I espionage into a land, then I only have to discard 1 anyways, so it's kind of the same. The reason I made that play was it gave me the opportunity to maybe kill something and then espionage into a land and not discard. I think I'm just going to get rid of the timely interference. So they were waiting, they were thinking I had Essence Scatter. That's why they weren't maybe playing some spells. Although also they just hit their 4th mana, so I'm not sure. I don't want to bounce that. I could thrill a possibility away a spell and play Tolarian Terror if I draw a land. Puts 2 spells in my graveyard and helps me find a land to play the Terror. So maybe that's what I do. What do I discard? Which spell? Could be the Geyser. Probably just Infusion, though. I have other removal spells that are better than the Infusion here. I don't think I want to discard the Espionage, because I'm going to start dumping my hands down. That worked out. So now I'm ahead on board, and I can kind of dictate the flow of the game. This card's going to be pretty hard to answer, outside of Fires of Victory almost exactly. If they attack, I probably don't block. I don't want to just lose my Tolarian Terror to a Twinferno and be behind again. I will attack into it, although they could block and then Lightning Strike. So I could also pass back. Oh, they have to discard? Yeah, they're not even cycling their timely interference, so they're trying to hold up all this mana to do something. So I could wait on their instep, Fires of Victory, the Micromancer. Because otherwise I'm just attacking into a Lightning Strike, which is pretty bad here. So I think I should just play my land and say go. That way everything's clear. And then if they cycle the timely interference, I can at least Fires of Victory the Micromancer while they're tapped low. Well, they could still shore up, so it actually doesn't really do that much. This is going to be okay. They're going to bounce it, but I get to Fires of Victory their Micromancer. Now I get to Espionage into Tolarian Terror with Essence Scatter backup. That's kind of great. Once I get to 7 mana, I can start G2 Amplifying. But I don't know if that's something. Like, I can still just keep playing the Terror for 1 or 2 mana. It's like interesting because these blue-red matchups, it's kind of like who can get on board and stick the threat first. That's some of the games, and then some of the games are just pure races. Because everyone has all these cards that just help them run past each other. That's fine. That's not the card I'm worried about. I can also bounce that card. think I'm going to just geyser it. Rather than, if I amplifier, well, maybe I should just amplifier. The problem with amplifier is they might essence scatter it. But maybe that's okay. If they essence scatter, I get to attack for 5. So. I think I'm okay with that. At least they don't essence scatter my lookout. I don't want a Tolarian Geyser right here. I want to hold up the Essence Scatter because really I need to answer a few select cards at this point. I'm winning the race, I just need to make sure I don't be too aggressive with my cards. So right now, how much does their Terror cost? It costs 3? Okay, let's attack. If they have like a shore up, I can Fires of Victory. Like if they were going to do that plus Twinferno is what I'm thinking about. Alright, let's just play another. More Essence Scatter. I could play Talus Lookout here and then just bounce whatever they play, and then Essence Scatter. But I'm a little worried about the one, like if they have multiple threats. So I think I'm still just going to keep waiting. I think I still play my land. Because mana's pretty important right now. I've already used my Thrill of Possibility and I boarded out the Goblin Picker. Or, not the Goblin Picker, sorry. The Sprouting Goblin. Again, I'm still winning this race. Yeah, that's the one I'm afraid of, so I think I should just counter that. Then if they play a Terror, I can just bounce the... Well, this one, they can get one card out of it. I guess I can just counter their Terror. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Their Terror they can play for free if they have a negate. But okay, so I think I should just Geyser it. I could Flowstone Infusion. I think it's better to attack though, because if they have Twinferno, I can get their Twinferno here. Like they're behind, they kind of have to make some desperate plays. Alright, that was... So if I play this and have an Essence Scatter, the Fires of Victory is getting kind of worse at that point. Maybe I should just play Flowstone Kabu. It attacks for more anyways. If I do that, I can... Let's see, if I play land plus Talus Lookout, and I Essence Scatter if I Essence Scatter their Tolarian Terror, then I have Flowstone Combo and Fires of Victory in hand, draw a card. I can kill their Defiler of Dreams with the Kicker. So I can let the Defiler resolve. And yeah, they might draw a card. But I can counter the card that matters most, which is Tolarian Terror. I guess if they Defiler and then double Terror, I'm in trouble. So that might be an argument to counter the Defiler, but I don't think so, because I can't answer the Terror with the Fires of Victory based on my line. If I had Flowstone Kavu'd instead and held the island, then I Essence Scatter the Defiler and I have 3 cards in the end. It's still just not great. I think I just attack here. They need 2 spells to interact with my terror. I think I'm okay not playing the land. I don't get to play 2 spells this turn, but it lets my Fires of Victory be an answer to the Defiler of Dreams, which I think is going to be more important here. Alright, so we have to block, sure. They're pretty mana constrained, so I'm surprised they make this play. But maybe they have some way to... I would still just... I'm fine with that. I was probably going to block anyways. What if they go spell, 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 Inferno? Like, that's the only way I really lose here. So I don't know, like, yeah, it's probably going to make that block almost regardless. Are they thinking about trying to kill something before I draw a card? Like, in case I have a shore up, which I don't have in my deck, but they don't know that. That makes sense. That is a good card. Alright, hit him down to 1. Then I have 2 lethal threats. Hold my land for the fires. Alright, that's dying. Sure. Let's see. I kind of want to counter that, but I still think it's better to counter the Tolarian Terror. Interesting. On to the finals, folks. Keep. Kind of want to be able to hold this Flowstone Infusion until I get multiple future amplifiers in play. See if that's a possibility. Another blue-red mirror. Interesting. I'm still trying to play this. Hopefully they just play cards and I just answer them and kill them. That's perfect. So we just lightning strike and attack. If they do that one time, they're almost just dead. Yep. Alright, we need to be a little... Oh, I drew another Fire's Victory, so we don't actually need to be careful. I'm going to use all my mana on fires. I was going to say we need to be a little careful to save it for something big, potentially. But that's not true. Now I can kill something with 4 toughness next turn. And I could even Flowstone Infusion too, which will be lethal. Like if they just tap out again, I can Flowstone and then in response, Fires of Victory. Obviously if they kill my G2 amplifiers, that's no longer true. Which is why the best way to attack this red-blue deck is you just kill everything your opponent plays. Now if they don't tap out, I don't really want to... really want to Flowstone Infusion and go all in. Let's just try to answer the card. At least if they have a shore up, they use it now. Can't kill them. I have one more Fires of Victory. I'm wondering, do I hold my land? I think the answer is no. I think I still just play it. And we can kind of sit back for a little while if we need to. So we have this G2 amplifier. It's not typically a blue-red card. Maybe they had slim pickings compared to our last opponent had a really good blue-red deck. We have a really good blue-red deck, but maybe their pod didn't offer them that. I think this time I don't play a land because I don't have much else going on. Although if I draw G2 amplifier that costs 5 mana, I might want to double pump plus Flowstone, but I don't have enough red to do that anyways. That would be quadruple red. So I think I just play this in Sego. It is a lethal creature, so that's got to be kind of scary. If they play another creature, I can't actually kill them with the Kavu. But if they play something small... Well, if they play something small, I can't kill it, because I can sack and shoot the Kavu, and then I... Well, I could put them down to 1. That's kind of annoying. This lets him cycle. I get the option of killing their creature. If they say go, I think I will kill it, because this will untap and then we just need another spell later on. If they have a shore up, at least I'll know about it. 5/4 is just huge. And the real question is, I played my 3/2 this turn. How much does a Flaring Terror cost right now? 6 mana? Or 5 if they have an Essence Scatter, but this is a lethal threat. They're kind of likely to have an Essence Scatter, because I haven't played a creature in a while. But I mean, if they have a Flaring Terror, they can play it anyways. But they can't play a Terror and hold up Essence Scatter, so I could wait a turn. That way if they do tap a terror to stabilize, I can land this lookout unless they have a land. But they're also, I mean, they could easily just have a land. So I'm probably leveling myself. I probably should just play the lookout. It's also game 1, they might not have Essence Scatter in their deck. So I'd rather get the information. Like if I know, like if I play 3 Essence Scatters in game 1 and this was game 3, kind of a different scenario. But that's not the scenario we're in. Nice, good draw. Okay, we got game 1. They kind of have a lot of creatures in their blue-red deck, which is interesting. 5/4, like maybe Essence Scatter, is just good. Probably it should have just been in my deck over Furious Bellow because I board this out every time. But I also haven't really played the matchups where Furious Bellow would be the best. I've played against these blue decks where Essence Scatter is really good. And I like that the Bellows gave me proactive draws of my amplifiers. So I kind of like, if I win game 1, I'm more incentivized to board out and board in Essence Scatter for game 2 because I'm on the draw. Let's see here. How good is Flowstone Infusion? Still pretty good. I just want the other Essence Scatter and I'll board out Sprouting Goblin. Basically playing the same matchup as round 2. Their deck is a little more mid-ranged than the round 2 opponent. But I think we're basically approaching the matchup very similarly. It just means, based on what we've seen, we can be a little more liberal with using our Essence Scatters earlier. Whereas my round 2 opponent really wanted to save Essence Scatter for their hard to interact with threats. But it's possible that my opponent this matchup just hasn't drawn those threats yet. Like they just drew a bunch of their dorky cards in game 1 and there's a bunch of powerhouses hiding in their deck. So in match 1, when we had a 1-lander, I talked myself into keeping it. This is not that type of 1-lander. I need way too much to go right for this to work out. Okay, what do we get rid of here? Maybe just the lookout. I'm pretty far from casting it. And this G2 amplifier actually can get some good damage in if that's the way the game goes. Our hand's pretty bad. So I don't like our spot. But what can we do? I think I'm just going to kill that. It's going to trade for my amplifier otherwise. I suppose if I just kill their next couple threats, then I might be able to play a terror cheaply and run away with the game that way. Is it better to kill their Soaring Drake or play the Kabu? If I play the Kabu, I can kill... I think my Fires of Victory being online is more important than the Kabu. If I play the Kabu here, my next Fires is a lot worse. I'm still gonna play my... If they don't do anything next turn, I can play the Kabu and then get closer to kicking the Fires. Just need an island, a couple lands, and go from there. Like at this point, I don't really want to play these without kicking them because I'm so close to kicking them. have the potential for some pretty explosive turns coming up. I don't think trading is good. We just want to take the damage. We are low on resources, so generally when that's the case, that player doesn't want to trade. They want to close the game and put pressure on. Which is kind of where we're at. If we draw a land, I can double fires, and that would be a huge turn. They are constrained on red mana too, which is interesting to note. I would consider like trading off with the Goblin Picker. Potentially. That's not great. Should I just fire as the Talos look at it and attack with everything? They still just get to trade with the Amplifier. But it means we can play a Terror once we draw an island. And it means my Flowstone Cabo gets through right now. And like I said, kind of in an awkward spot here. If we trade a bunch of resources though, and I draw blue mana, suddenly we're back in it. Like, drawing the Fire Action Espionage kind of changes the equation. Because the game's going to go longer. And this Cabo is going to be hard to answer. They could easily have a removal spell for it. I think that's kind of what they were thinking about last turn. So it's going to be a little bit hard for my Cabo to go the distance. If they don't have removal, then it's possible. Like, if they just have creatures, then the Cabo is going to do some good work here. Carplucin Forest. Interesting. Thought they were straight blue-red, but I guess not. What would they be playing green for? Sure. Maybe Gaia's might. Could be Tail Swipe with a Micromancer. I guess just play my card. Hopefully it's good enough. It's interesting, like I said, sometimes like one player's the control and one player's like clearly the beatdown in these blue-red matchups. It's kind of like whoever gets on board first. In this game, clearly they're the control. There it is. Would have loved an island this turn. I feel kind of behind at this point. All I have going for me is this Flowstone Cabo. Whereas if I had been able to play Tolarian Terror, I wouldn't feel very behind. I'd feel ahead. See, now they have mana for Cast and Scatter. Ooh, that's brutal. Hopefully they mill me, that would be nice. So what interactive spells they have? A Battle Hymn and a Lightning Strike. They have multiple Soaring Drakes, multiple Haunting Pigments. Okay. Oh, Mindsinger. Okay, we figured out what they're splashing green for. That card's really good. So what are they going to play next turn? Timely Interference? Alright, we just gotta... Well, if they Timely Interference my Terror, it's a big problem. But if I do this, and they Lightning Strike my face, I'm dead. So they kind of got me in a pickle with this founding the third path, actually. I guess I need to play this and draw into a small creature. And then play the Terror the next turn. We are dead, probably. I think that gave us better outs than just throwing our Terror under their plan. So game 3. Probably keep the deck as it is. Let me just double check. So a bunch of Haunting Figments and 2/3 flyers. Flowstone Kabu's great. I don't know, all my cards are still really good. Probably just keep it how it is. Kind of just, I just want to get on board first and then answer their cards, kind of like we did in game 1. I think Essence Scatter is still solid because I got to answer the Tolarian Terrors. It's the best way to do that. Probably better than playing random 2/2s, I think. This card's also not good against 2/3 flyers. Keldon Strike Team is not good against Haunting Figment. It's 2 mana inefficient. I could consider bringing in a Warbrute to push damage, but they're going to kill my cheap thing, so it's kind of just a 3/4 trample. So all that said, let's run it back. Alright, much better hand. Hopefully he can't answer that and I can just keep attacking them. Sure. Go all in, basically. I think it's better to play the island here, minor note, because next turn if I Espionage, I can play the mountain plus, well, I don't have any tap lands, but if I had tap lands in my deck, I could play the Espionage to see if I draw a tap land, and then if I draw the Shock, then I would just play that. I wonder if they're just gonna, if they have a Mindsinker, do they just play it right now to take my Amplifier? I would be tempted if I were them. What's really gonna happen is, if I untap and I draw a land, I'm gonna play my mountain and then Espionage. It gives me the most options. And that's just something you want to think about, like your deck composition. Like, if you have tap lands, you have to take that always into consideration. Alright, so just play my land and Espionage here. They could probably kill one of my Amplifiers, is my guess. I wonder if I should timely this one, just to get another draw and deal extra damage. I think it's bad because you know they have 2/3 flyers in their deck, so V2 Amplifier is like super good against that. Wicked timely, so I kind of want to hold it in case that's their plan. The turtle. I'll just play this and attack. If they block, I get to timely it. And blow out. Alright, so now we're in pretty nice shape, because I have these Fires of Victory to answer what they play. I do want to draw a land to be able to start doing that. So we just Flowstone Infusion that, let them get their card. And then we just Essence Scatter their next thing. I think trying to throw a possibility here is super greedy. They put an impulse in the graveyard, which is interesting. That means probably they had a pretty good card on top. Maybe they got like the Bodalian Mindsinger or Tellurian Terror. Like Balmor. I don't really care about Balmor. Goblin Picker. Don't really care too much about that either. I'm gonna kill one of them right now. Kind of mana constraint is the reason why, and then I can hold up Essence Scatter still. So I'm actually just gonna Fires of Victory your Goblin Picker and attack. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Now I'm gonna hold the land to throw a possibility if they don't play like a Tellurian Terror, because I'm gonna be able to find probably more lands at this point, and I want to find action. So playing the land cuts off more options actually, even though it looks like it adds options. This one. Still say go, I think. And now I can start holding lands too. That way my Fires of Victory are fully potent. I want them to be able to like kill a 6/6 potentially. Though I am probably in counter. Maybe I still play my land here. If I play my land and Essence Scatter something, they play something else, then I have 1, 2, 3 cards in hand, 4 next turn. What if they play Terror into Bodalian Mindsinger? That's probably what I have to worry about the most. So if I counter the Terror, then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like a fully cast one. Well, let's see if this resolves first. I think I hold my... It's hard to say. I think I should still be able to kill whatever they play here. Essence Scatter like a Mindsinger on their turn. Then I still have 4 cards in hand, so I could kill a Terror eventually. I'm gonna need 7 mana to be able to kill the Terror. Alright, now I think I pass. The next land I'll play. Drake is fine. Probably just gonna geyser it. Ooh, that's a good one. Looking good. Alright, so now I can Fires Victory. And I still have my mana up to Essence Scatter. Alrighty. I kind of want to Flowstone Infusion my Terror. But they have Lightning Strikes in their deck, and I don't know how many, so I think it's super greedy to do that. I think I probably wouldn't get punished. But also, I don't know how they're going to kill my terror. So I'm not gonna do that. Like, I was probably 90% to be safe on that play. But on the 10% of the times where I'm not, it's kind of rough. Okay, well, people mentioned this is a pretty good answer. Looks like we can't fire the victory. Maybe I should have just shocked him. The only reason is it didn't seem like I had much, but I do have these essence scatters, so I'm not too worried. But there are chains of cards that could get them out of this. We also just have Lightning Strike in our deck. I can just kill them. I could be greedy and fire some victories with terror. But then if they have a way to protect it, it's pretty bad. Alright. Between these two, I'm pretty sure we've got it. Alright. 3-0. Perfect. I'll see you for draft 2. Pretty exciting stuff. We'll go claim our little token here and be happy with that. Alrighty. Okay, so cool. We got our draft token, and I'll be doing that one in the very next video. See you soon.